All right, so I got the okay to tear it down. Basically, I charge $100 for diagnostic, and then anything after that is $75 an hour. So apparently, this bike has been in his possession for 5 months, and I do believe, if I read the text right, I asked him how many times he's ridden it. He said within that 2 months he's ridden it twice, and he hasn't been able to keep the bike running for more than 30 minutes. So I did notice that it's aftermarket. Let's get into this and see how bad of a situation we got here. So I'm gonna pull this off, pull it outside, drain the coolant so I don't get it everywhere, and then go from there. All right, check this out. I just went to go let the coolant out, and this does not look good. I don't know. I'm guessing it's oil, possibly. That is diarrhea. I don't know what the hell that is. That's coming out of the water pump. I'm gonna pour some water down here in this radiator and see what comes out down there, if anything. Oh yeah, we're getting water now. Dude, I don't know what the heck happened there. Gonna have to flush this shit out. But yeah, I don't know what the hell that other shit was. It's oil for sure, I'm guessing. So I bet this engine is toast. I bet this engine is toast. If that's the coolant that was in it, there's no way that was cooling this engine. All right, let's go put these tools away, and we're gonna tear into this thing, see what we got. Get this bull crap out. So my guess is these bushings are gone, or it's missing some parts, but when I spin this, the whole thing shifts, both sides. Oh, crazy. I don't know what kind of suspension that is, those A-arms. All right, just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna do one more compression test. See what we get here. I don't expect much, but let's see what we got. We need to hold the throttle open. Still about the same, 35, 40. So, not good. All right, just had to get cleaned up here. So let's get this thing torn down, and let's get this thing figured out. As you saw, the coolant that came out of here definitely did not look good. I don't know what that was, but I just have this strong suspicion that this bike was never truly running. But we're gonna find out here shortly as to what is going on, because I am gonna tear this thing completely down, and we will check everything, because I don't have any compression, so something's not right. You guys want to place some bets on what's going on? I'm gonna say total top end failure is what I'm going to go with. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think there was oil in the coolant. So we'll definitely have to address that as well. But one thing at a time, you know, we gotta start somewhere, so. Might as well start tearing her down. It's the only way we're gonna find out. That one needs to be cut loose again. Choke off, throttle cable back out. I mean, I guess I could just set it aside, but I'd rather just have it out of my way so I don't have to deal with it. But I'm half tempted to take these headlight brackets off because they always cause damage to my hand when I hit them. Out of the way. Let's get this throttle cable out of here. The more I have out of my way now, the less I'll have to deal with later. Yeah, I keep hitting my hand on that. This one's got the reverse cable on it. Coolant overflow hose. I'll just let this one hang down up there. I'll just stick these bolts back in here for now. All right, we need to get this exhaust off. We got back here some more tools. Need to find another bin. Got one. And I'm occupying many of them. This stuff was for the, just throw this stuff as the old pack stuff. I don't need that. Just throw these in here. Oh, need that. It's all one piece. Separates there. Another clamp. That's weird. There only be one clamp. It's all one piece. One piece exhaust, really? That's gonna suck. It's really just one clamp. Huh. Alright. It is what it is. thing I've ever seen. Like, why would you have a one piece with the disconnect right there? I mean, I guess so it makes it easier to get that out, but it's just silly. It looks like a 10. And yes. Those up. Well. We have a wrench and a ratchet. Definitely overfull of oil. I showed you earlier in the video, I was just oozing out, so I don't know what's up with that. He said the guy changed the oil. I don't know what to think. I think someone's playing games over here, so. This exhaust out of the way if we can. Hopefully it just slides out and be done with it. But nothing's ever easy, right? Nothing is ever easy these days, right? Nothing. Nothing. Looks like the pipe slides off. That was easy. Take the T4. Slide this forward. Invest in some little pry bars. That is something I do not have. There's that one. Come on. Taking the shield think that shield is gonna have to come off. Yes, that shield is gonna have to come off. Darn it. Thought I could get away without doing that. At least they're coming off, right? You got the small things in life. Painted those up. Come on, I think if I pull this pipe out. Shit, I'm not very good. Break this out. Yeah. Alright. Dun dun dun. If I could take a look in those, take a look in those exhaust ports there. Let's see if I can see anything. Pretty carboned up on that one. See the other one? All right, what else do we got left here? Coolant hose needs to come off. Fill it for that. Get this coolant hose off. Down there and up here. Just get this thing out of my way altogether. Loose enough, but Jesus Christ, a lot of corrosion going on in there. Maybe some smoke. Well, up, get them out of my way. Let's get this hose off. Get this side off. It's all corroded in there. So this goes like this. Let me go put that back on. Second oil line here going down to there. Probably take that off after we get this mount off here. So let's get that main engine mount off. And then these carbs loose. Pop these carbs out of here, I think. Ugh. Ooh, I knew that was coming. I knew they were gonna dump out gas. I'll let that drain in there. Just missed me. Let's see what size we need. Probably 10, 14, 17. 14 there. 10 there. So that is a 14. It shouldn't be that bad because someone has been in here prior to me. So everything should be fairly on the loose end, which so far is the case. Main bolt out of here for the engine, and then we'll take these smaller ones out. I have to get a wrench in there. I just grab a 12s. Yeah, let's go ahead and use a 12. Get all these out here. Take this dog bone out. Put them out. When I take bolts out, I just kind of, like to keep them with the part. That way they don't get mixed up. I mean, the LTZs, I know so well that it doesn't really matter on those, but when I'm doing other bikes, definitely good practice to keep everything together. All right, we can get this oil line off here, I do believe. I'm just gonna slide that out of the way. Actually, let's just take it off because let me take that hose off too. Coolant comes pouring out of here. I don't think there's much coolant in there. I did try to flush it out with some water, just a little bit to get rid of some of that goop that was in there. I don't know what the hell that stuff was, but it was nasty. And then, like I said, just by the looks of that coolant, I'm gonna guess this thing's got total top end failure. That would be my strong suspicion, because if there's no way for it to cool, there's no way it's gonna stay cool. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get this off of here. Or we'll just have to wait till we get the head off. Probably just have to do that, but I need to get to that one back there at least. I don't know if I can. I kind of really need this off. It's gonna come off though. Maybe that would give enough access to that. Yeah. So we'll take this. This has 2 washers. It's kind of like a banjo bolt here. Keep all that together. all this together so stuff doesn't get mixed up. There's some more of that nastiness in there. Looks like that is a, I would think this is an oil, but this looks like a coolant possibly. Just the way it's got the nasty stuff in there. It wasn't even bolted in there. So this is gonna go like that when I go to put it back on. All right, I definitely need to go. Almost lost that washer there. That would have sucked if I missed that. I think we need to put this back in top dead center, and then we'll start taking the head off up here, and then we'll kind of go from there. So let's get this back in top dead center. Or 19. And I'll put this screwdriver back down in here just so we know we're at the top dead center. There's the top dead center. And let's go ahead and loosen these this head up here. It's gonna go in small increments. Get you guys in closer, and I'll do it from the other side here. Like they've been a little chewed up. Need an extension for some of these. Grab one real quick. I'm curious as to what failed on this thing. It's always the element of surprise when you tear these things down. And I'll have to find all the torque specs for all this stuff, and hopefully nothing breaks. Cross my fingers. Some of the stuff just isn't really that tight. Definitely gonna be a nightmare to torque all these in some sort of sequence, I guess. Loose. loose. I think these are all loose up here. Yeah. Get all these over here. Another one down there, I think so. Alright, I think I can just run these out with the impact gun here. They all should be loose. Come on. Oh, I found one in the middle that I didn't get. Bust that one loose real quick. It. See if we can pry this off. I don't always like prying. A lot of times I just like to use like a dead blow in hopes it shocks it loose. But I don't know if this is gonna work on this. Might have to end up prying on this one. Looks that way. Pretty sure I got all these out. Just want to double check. Is that holding that on? Check that one there. Yeah, probably. And it's probably gonna be an 8 there. Yeah. Grab the impatcher again. I guess I probably should take that off as well. Not sure what this is, but it's got an oil plug on there, so my guess is it's some sort of oil galley. But let's get this off of there. Set this aside as well. Interesting. Let's see if we can get this thing to pry loose. Darn it. I really got this on there good. Oh, there's two more in here. I didn't even see those. Didn't even see those. Good thing I saw those just now. Good thing I saw those. It's kind of silly. Why would you hide some in there? That's kind of stupid. Stupid, stupid. Alright, so I'm gonna have to make another 2 holes on my cardboard here. I go ahead and did what I went ahead and did what I normally do with the clutch cover bolts on the LTZs. I just make myself a template and then use those for all the bolts and screws and stuff. So that way I know, like this, because you can see they're all different sizes. So this keeps them organized. Let's get this marked. Hopefully it'll come off now, I hope. All right, let's try again with the rubber mallet. I don't like doing fine with that. All right. Oh shit. We have a bad cam journals in here. Right off the bat, first thing we pull off, this is chewed up bad. There's a lip on there and everything. That's not good. So I'll have to see about replacing this, because that's definitely going to need to be replaced. I'll set that aside. Probably going to need a new cam too. So let me get some wire and let's first get this tensioner off here for the timing chain, if I can. to get a 17, 19. This is always the case when these guys buy these. When these guys buy these marketplace bikes. This is what I don't understand is I sell a nice quality bike that's been gone through and completely looked over. Yeah, for a little bit more money, but I mean, this is what you get if you don't, you know, it's just a problematic bike. And, you know, this was my guess was someone threw this bat together to just get it out of their hair and get it up for sale. They really didn't know what they were doing. They just threw this jug on there because they forgot to put oil in it, or I know these Raptors had an issue where they wouldn't get oil or something. I'll have to look into that. But, you know, it's... This is how these bikes go. Don't know how I'm gonna get that one off. I think someone walk by? Get my little space saver tool here. Get this tensioner out of here. Drain that oil. I mean, let's see. Chain doesn't look too bad. I didn't notice any play when before I removed the tensioner, because I was able to get this cover off and inspect it. So, I mean, I'm gonna have to go all the way down there, so I guess it doesn't really matter if the chain drops, but I'm gonna zip tie it up just in case. Just zip tie it up somewhere out of the way. I don't know. Let's get this cam out of here. If I can. I may have to take this cover off here. I don't think so. Let's just check and see if it was in time. Yeah, it was in time, so that's not the issue. I feel like there's a tension or something in there that's holding me back. I should be able to pop this off. So this cam, these journals are a little chewed up here too. Oh my God. Every time, guys, every time. Let me figure out what to do with this. Probably gonna have to grab Another zip tie and zip tie, that's the frame. Let's just do one more loop and then we'll zip tie it to the frame. It'll give me a little more room, flexibility. And we'll just deal with that when we're ready to pull this cylinder off. It doesn't really matter because at this point I'm going to have to go all the way down, but I'll give you a close-up of all this stuff when I get it. Dude, there's so much oil in this thing. Like, the oil is literally to the top. I don't think there should be that much oil in here. All right, let's keep on trucking. Keep on trucking. So let's get these outer ones loose here before we go inside and get the inner ones. So these Allens here. More. There's just those 2, 3, and 4, and then this one. I'm just gonna keep on going down slowly. I feel like I can get the impact on that and run that out. There. Let's crack these leaves. What size are they? 12s? Yes. They are 12s. Jesus. Just go a little bit at a time on each one. Another marketplace fail. All right. Next level. I don't think there's any in there, are there? No, there's just galleys there. I'm scared to see what's down the rest of the engine. I truly am thinking it's total failure. These are all the same, but just gonna make sure. I can smell the burntness of this oil. I mean, yeah, it's got new oil in it now, but those are all the same size. All right. Next section. Oh, I got one on the bottom too. Jesus. What the heck are these guys doing to me? I got one down here. Got the only one. Looks like it. I always got one hidden. So let's move you guys over here a little bit. So you can get to this one with a wrench, a ratchet rather. As if it's gonna need a wrench. It could be a tight fit. Slide this forward because it's gonna make a mess. I guarantee you that. It's always something. I'm gonna guess he's not gonna want to fix this because it's gonna cost a lot. I guarantee it. Once I look up the price of this, it's gonna blow it out of the water. You'd be better off just parting this thing out. Let me grab a 12 wrench. Oh my God, come on. Certainly don't make it easy to get your fingers in there to get it loose. All right, so the one going up is a small one. All right, you guys ready? Let's see what kind of carnage we got. I'll bring you guys down a little bit. Bring you in. Bring you in right there. Keep getting shocked. So the cam is definitely done for. Alright, let's get some towels for my hands. Let's get some snips. And I'm gonna cut this and I'm just gonna let this chain drop. There's no reason to keep it up, so. Let's get this drained off. So let's see what we got here. Got this guide that needs to come out to the top. Let's get some of this oil drained off of here. Surprisingly, the valves look all right. I was expecting a bad valve. Oh my God, more bolts? Jesus criminy. Oh, look at that. I don't think that's supposed to be burnt through. Which way did this go? Like so, or like so? Yeah, burnt through there. So when I was compression testing it, I was getting, I did a leak down test. That is a coolant jacket there. And when I put it under pressure, it blew the the coolant reservoir cap off and blew it across the garage. And then when I was testing it, I'd turn it up and I'd hear little bubbles. So I don't know, it's progressively getting worse. So we'll see what happens here. All right, so now I got these 4 here. Just when I want more bolts to take off. I think sometimes they kind of overdo it here, but let's get these 4 bolts off. My guess is I'm gonna need the breaker bar for these. What size are these? These are not 12, probably 14. Not that 14, too thick. I think we're gonna have to go with a 1/2 incher. I need to get a expander on there. Let's see if I can get it off with this. Yeah, that should be fine. Probably run them out. With the good old impact. And then we got some on the outside again. As always, I don't even know how I'm gonna get to those. Damn it. It's ridiculous sometimes. I tell you, it's ridiculous sometimes. It's almost like they want you to buy a whole bunch of special tools just so you can work on their stuff. I mean, I get it. There's no way that's gonna even... The T-handle will be able to get in there. Thank goodness that is it. And then I'll just have to pull that hose off there while I'm doing it. Alright, let's just see if these are all the same. So far, yes. So this one's short and so the 2 outer ones are shorter. I need to find that washer wherever it went. washers in here. What this red stuff is. Smells like shit. I guess it's probably assembly lube. All right, moment of truth here. Let's see what we got. I think maybe I'm just gonna take this off right here because it'll just make my life a little bit more easier than having to deal with that hose. Shmooey it up. All right, let's get the cylinder head out of here. See what kind of damage we got. I think you'll be lucky if it's just top end, but I think the jug is all right. This gasket, yeah, definitely got hot down there. Piston looks all right. Rings are not bad. They look pretty good. Some sludge in there, that is for sure. God, this thing stinks. I don't even know what that smell is. Chain out of here if we can. Just gonna let that hang down. This gasket looked all right. I don't see it leaking. Piston's kind of scraped there. What does this side look like? A lot of side to side in that piston, but see if we can take a gander at anything else in here. Let me grab a flashlight and just make sure. Piston, the rings, they look all right. which way does that other valve go? Is it 3 in the intake, right? Yeah, so. I'll have to check that head, that cylinder head out. But the weird thing is, I don't see any oil in there. I don't see any oil in there. Unless I'm missing it, but something's plugged up, would be my guess. And it feels good, a little side to side, but no up and down, that's for sure. And roll smooth. I wonder what kind of piston this is. Good. So I'll just have to price out a top end and probably a water pump. So he said the guy changed oil on it. I would imagine that there was probably coolant in it, maybe. We got a leaking head gasket, and I'm guessing that's a coolant port. All right, so we're at this point here. Let me wash up and I'll show you what's going on. All right, so I got everything looked at. Crank is still good, bottom end is still good. The only thing that concerns me is there is no oil down there. It's bone dry. Honestly, I think there should be some oil in there. I know there's a ton of oil in the reservoir here. You know, honestly, I probably could put this thing back together and it'll run. Even with those worn out cam journals. It'll probably run, but probably not for much longer. But I mean, the only issue we had was really the head gasket as far as it not running. All right, I'm gonna wrap up the video on this bike. He's gonna come actually, he's not gonna come pick it up. He messaged me and said that he got some guy to come buy it for 1,500 bucks as is. So I told him it's gonna be like 3,700 bucks to get this thing fixed and get it running right and go back to stock. And that was with a used head and valve cover with the rocker arms in it. An OEM cylinder, OEM piston, rings, OEM gaskets. This does have a big bore kit in it. I measured it, so standard bore is, I believe, 100, and this is 101. So this is a typical big bore kit you get on Amazon. You know, I don't know if he used a cheap gasket or the big bore kit caused excessive heat in the engine to blow that head gasket. Who knows? But looking at the head, it definitely was not getting oil or lack of maintenance, you know, dirty oil, stuff like that. So that head alone was $700, and that was for a used one. And with parts, labor to get this thing running correctly, go back to original and be done with it, he was looking at 3,700 bucks, parts and labor. I gave him the option of going with a, you know, used engine, just engine swapping it. Not many to choose from. I had like 3 to choose from. I picked the best one. That was 2,800 bucks for just the engine. And you know, I told him that this thing, you're just better off just parting ways with it. I do know these Yamahas did have engine problems. I don't see a whole lot of engines on eBay for sale, just due to that fact, I do believe. You know, the ones that I had, one had a clicking noise. He said he started it up and it made a noise, and he believed it was the clutch basket going bad. You know, that one wasn't an option. Then there was another one where it was missing the, so I guess this broken stud back here on the K-Saver is a common problem. The tab breaks off, so one of the engines had that broken off, and I was like, well, I'm not going to pay for an engine that's got a broken tab on it, just like this one here. And then the other one was the least of my worries, and it had a bad one-way clutch bearing for the starter, so that's not an issue. That's a pretty cheap part, pretty easy to deal with. So, you know, I opted for that one, gave him a price on doing all that. And apparently he posted this thing up as non-running. And then called me and said he had some guy wanting to come buy it for $1,500. And I was all like, what, does he know it's torn down? Because I don't want him to get here and be like, cool, well, he never told me it was torn down. So I sent him a picture. I was all like, make sure he knows before he comes, because when he gets here, he's going to be all pissed off at me because you didn't tell him it was torn down. So he messaged me back. He said he's going to be here between 4:30 and 5 tomorrow. We'll see if he shows up. You know how this goes. He said he'll come get it next week. I don't mind hanging on to it, having people come look at it if it saves him a trip. But, you know, it is what it is. Unfortunately, he got burned. He paid $3,500 for this thing, used it twice. Didn't last more than 30 minutes each time he used it. It's been nothing but a problem since he got it. And unfortunately, sometimes that's how it goes on Marketplace, you know. And I always make sure my bikes are in tip-top shape. Some I need to tear down the engine, some I don't. I can just tell over the years by listening to them, driving them. There's no abnormal noises. They run fine. So, and then people complain that my bikes are too expensive and they want them for the cheap price. You know what, guys? Go buy yourself a cheap bike. Fix it up yourself. Save you some money by it instead of having to bring it to somebody. But, you know, I've gone through it. I've done my due diligence, make sure they're good. And that's why I post them up for what I post them up for. You know, the people that want the nicer stuff in life end up purchasing my bikes, but everybody wants to lowball and everybody wants to play games. So, you know, unfortunately, it is what it is. But anyway, we're going to conclude this video. We'll see if this guy shows up. I'll let you know if he does, and we'll go from there.